Hey everybody, it's Aaron and welcome back to Lord's Comics Collectibles, and this week we're going to be looking at a toy from one of my favorite franchises as a kid, Bucky O Hare. You guys can see him real good there. It was a cartoon that came from a comic book that ran from 1991 to 1992, and it had a NES game cartridge and a arcade cabinet. And there are about 10-11 figures in the line and 2 vehicles. And just to give you a little bit of backstory on the general premise of the show, there's this alternate universe from ours called the Aniverse, and there are anthropomorphic or animal people that live there as like a cohesive unit, and they're threatened by the Toads, which are toad people that are led by a computer named, I think it's Core something, by a computer, and they're attacking the other animals. And there's this group called Space, SPACE, and they have one ship, and the crew of that ship's job is to fight the Toads. And that captain of that ship is one Bucky O Hare. The name of the ship is the Righteous Indignation. And one day, the ship's engines malfunction, and it opens up a portal and sucks in a kid from our dimension who is a engineering whiz, and he becomes part of the crew, and they go on adventures to fight the Toads. Anyway, guys, as much as I love this, let's get down to the figure cam so we can take a closer look at him. Hey guys, we're in fig cam mode now, boys and girls, and we're taking a look at Captain Bucky O Hare, as I mentioned, Captain of the Righteous Indignation. And as you can see, he is a green hare. I'll be the first to admit I'm not sure just the technical difference between a hare and a rabbit. But like I said, he's a green hare. He's got his ears poking out the top of his pilot's cap. You can see it sort of there. Sorry if the shadow's a little bit much, guys. Goes around the back of his head. And he's got these silver pilot goggles on top, which mine's got a pretty big chunk missing out of the top on the paint there, but it's alright. He's also wearing a red and yellow spacesuit, very Hulk Hogan colors. He's got these shoulder pads with tassels that are painted in yellow, and if I can move his head out of the way enough, it's a lot of catch it. Just so he's got a red star. You can kind of see it there on his shoulder, or a star molded on his shoulder pads that should be yellow according to the cartoon images, but it's not painted. But I can understand why, because you can barely see it because of his head. He's got also these wicked sideburns, or hair on the side of his face. It's got, if you can see it, it's got hair texture there, and the ears have a little bit of texture in them as well. Like I said, red shoulder pads with yellow tassels. He's wearing a red, he's got red, I guess, long sleeve shirt that goes into his long yellow gloves. The spacesuit itself is red, and it's got 2 yellow lines down the center here. He's wearing a yellow belt with pegs that we'll get into that later. The pants are red, and he's wearing these big yellow boots, and I like that there's texture in the boots, but I also like that he's got big feet, kind of like a hare or a bunny. I think that's a cool character design choice of mixing, when you're mixing like people and animals, picking out key characteristics of the animal that really get that across. His pants are also in this kind of piloty, poofy pilot pants, if you can see it up here. The bottoms of the shoes also have texture to them, which is really cool. And if you're looking for stands and you find them, if you collect these guys, let me know, because those pegs are massive. I might have to make some custom bases for them. Where that pink spot came from, or it might just be a thin part in the paint. The arms might be red. It wouldn't surprise me since most of his body's red. Actually, I know his body's red because of the tassels. So maybe it's just a spot where the paint's running thin there. And he's got this silver respirator on his chest, what I'm going to call it. I don't remember what it does in the show. It goes around the sides here and goes into his the back of his belt. Speaking of the back, he's got on this rubber cape with a yellow star with 3 lines in the background, and he's got his little rabbit tail poking out the back, or hair, forgive me, whatever the difference is on that. He also comes with this cool 80s, 90s style sci-fi blaster. And just to show you, even though it's not very useful in this guy, that big hole in the center there is actually to put it on one of these pegs so he can holster it. So if I can, sometimes this doesn't, I think one side's meant for it to go in a little bit better, but you can see, now it's not very holstery, admittedly, but you could do this if you wanted. And he's got them on the sides and back, but because of how the arms articulate, you can't put it on the sides, and I don't think the back's going to work because of his tail. Now, with that said, put his weapon back in his hands. Points of articulation. Both of his ears are on, or I guess, a peg in a hole. They would go full 360, but they bump into each other, and you could probably force the ears to, if you really wanted to. I don't know why, when you can just do that, and I don't want to mess up my figure, so I'm okay with that. His head, as you've seen, does move some, but it's kind of stiff. I think it's because of the cape, and I don't want to super force it, but it does have a little bit of articulation. I don't know if it goes all the way around. His arms swivel at the upper arm, right there, just below the shoulder pad. He doesn't have a shoulder joint, and then the arms, or the hands, will rotate 360 starting at the gloves. And the legs will go forward about, 45 degrees and back. About this, they don't actually go further back, but then you're bending the cape. As someone mentioned, and I thought was cool, his feet are sort of molded like he's in a running pose, because this one's toes are coming up and this is sort of curving down, so that's neat. And the range on the arms, if I didn't say, he will go all the way back and forward pretty much. He's just hitting himself at this point. Now, what is there to say about this guy? I tell you guys, when I got him, I could not stop grinning ear to ear because I loved this show as a kid in the video games. I'm planning on also getting them in the package because they've got the comic book art on the package, but I didn't feel like forking out the full price for 2 of them in the package, so I got one loose that I'm going to put on my shelf that I'm handling, obviously. And just to give you an idea, like I said, it's a short toy line because it only got 1 season. Rumors are that there were problems with the distribution of the toys, is why I didn't get a 2nd season. Basically, I think they still had demand for these figures, but something happened because we didn't get Jenny, which is his second in command, or Righteous Indignation, which were all slated to come out with the 2nd series. But like I said, I think it's 10 or 11 figures because their only confirmed variants are the Toadborg has 2 different colors on for the legs. I have not found out why, but you will find American cards where this is an orange pistol. And I've seen Captain Dogstars that have 2 silver pistols and 2 green pistols. And I've seen other variants. And at first I thought maybe it was because of the region. Maybe like in Europe they have to have toys that weapons aren't realistically colored, so it was why it was orange. But I've seen American cards that were orange, so I don't know what that difference is. And the boy has glasses, and there's some with orange glasses. I don't know what the difference is there. So I don't know if those are true variants. From my research, the only true variants that they mentioned was the Toadborg. So it's like 10, 11 figures and 2 vehicles. I got this one for $25 off eBay. So loose, they run about that 25 to 30 range. Because you want to make sure to get the accessories. Anyway, guys, thank you for spending time with me today. Follow us on all the social media, the Facebook page, YouTube if you were looking at this on the WordPress side. If you're looking at this on YouTube, it's wordpress.com. It'll be in the link. I can't remember the full URL, but go check out the page. It'll have a written review of stills of this guy. Click the notification bell so you get notifications when I post a new video. And leave down in the comments either on the website or on the video. What's one of the other 90s shows that you early 90s, late 80s, early 90s shows? Did they have toy lines? Like, what did you like about them? And let's get a good conversation going about that stuff, guys, because I like talking about childhood. Anyway, guys, as always, enjoy what you do, hobby on, and I'll catch you next time.